everybody. Thanks for coming out. How are we all doing? All right, we got a good crowd here. This is our third HeadNet Expo under that name, but it's our first one under the Wireless Infrastructure Association name. So we're thrilled to have you there. How about that new logo? I don't know if you all saw that logo. It has a W, I, and an A in it. This is a secret that I needed to get out this morning for those I haven't told. And if you can find the A in the logo, you are going to be registered for a free cruise, so be sure to sign up for that. This is our best show ever, we think. We have a hell of a lineup for you this morning. 2 full days of world-class speakers. We have panels, networking events lined up for you. And for the first time, we created a unique matchmaking program between vendors and folks that are buyers in the wireless infrastructure space. So that should be a great innovation. And you know, we have, I think, really the leaders of the industry here. We've got the premier event for small cells and DAS in the United States. And there's so many folks that we have seen before. There's a lot of new faces I see out here this morning. I thank you all for coming out. We're growing, the industry's growing, and I think that this show certainly reflects that. So I'd like to also thank all of our sponsors that really made this possible. We have an amazing group of sponsors. You can see their names up on the screen that we are going to have here at the show and are supporting the show. Without them, it really wouldn't be possible. I think we should be able to get the sponsors' names up on the screen there. We have that image, but well, we will get it up there. It's not a wireless issue, I want to make that point. So the wireless infrastructure industry, I think the whole ecosystem is here, from towers to small cells. It's front and center now more than it really ever has been in the time I've been at this association, but really in history I've never heard more talk in Washington and throughout the country about densification, about small cells. It's central to people's daily lives and it's central to the economy. And over the next few days we'll explore how these changes are going to impact us here in the industry and also what it means to the communities that we serve and the ultimate customers. The HeadNet Expo brings together the people and the companies that are developing the next generation of advanced headnets. We have leaders from companies that are pioneering every aspect of this industry here under one roof, from small cells to DAS to Wi-Fi, together with macro towers. And they all work together, and we're going to talk here at the show about how they work together to enable wireless coverage and capacity. This year's event focuses on the key role mobile networks play in supporting the Internet of Things. You know, I like to say the Internet of Things requires a network of reality, and we are the builders of the network of reality. We're going to talk about smart cities, we're going to talk about the rollout of 5G, and look at the new network architecture that makes them reality. Wireless is really taking over. I see there's a wireless device taking a picture right now. I mean, it's everywhere, every aspect of our lives, and people are depending on us. What we do here at this event is going to mean so much for folks that depend on these things every day. We want to make sure we continue to lead. The U.S. has always been the leader in the global information revolution. Because of all of you, we're here to make sure that we can maintain that kind of leadership going forward with innovations. And this show is designed to give you the tools that you need to do that, the communications and networking that make you even sharper. The folks that come here tend to be the industry leaders, the ones on the cutting edge, and you get that advantage by being here, and that's why folks come back. It's a perfect setting for all of us to get together and explore the opportunities and really the challenges we face, because it's not all perfect. There are issues out there we face, not only with regulatory, but with CapEx and the way that this is developing, but I think the opportunities are much greater. Kick off the show in a few minutes by sitting down with a one-on-one conversation with Jay Brown, the new CEO of Crown Castle, a real legend in the industry, and he's running the nation's largest provider of shared wireless infrastructure. I'll chat with Jay about his company's current strategy, and we'll find out about what he thinks about the future, where the industry's headed. And that sets the stage for a lot of other visionaries that we have before you today that will explore a lot of pressing issues, from the shape of densification to come, to the economic impact of a connected city, to mobile healthcare, to how wireless infrastructure enables the types of services that are to be delivered. The message really is that wireless infrastructure is not only about what we build. We're the ones who sit there and we do the guts of the thing, but it's about what we enable. So when we go to regulators, we talk about all the great things we make possible in education, healthcare, on, the economy, but it takes the work that you all do to make that possible. As you can tell, I'm really thrilled about this show. I'm thrilled about the industry. The companies that are in this room are the ones that are changing how we do business. They're changing how people get from point A to point B, how they entertain themselves. There's no doubt we're going to have some incredible new ideas that come out of this conference, some strategic partnerships, and hopefully some profitable deals that will emerge here in the next few days. They always do, and this year will be more of the same. Small cells and DAS are, I think, widely recognized now more than ever as indispensable parts of the wireless carrier's arsenal. There's been a question every year at these events about how central are small cells, how central is DAS, and it's becoming front and center. And all the enthusiasm aside, I think that the facts speak for themselves. We have all kinds of growth in data demand, as we've seen time and time again. We all know the stats. Demand for data is going up 6-fold in the next 5 years. But the question is, how does that figure translate to all of us? I mean, that figure, by the way, was before I think we even heard of Pokemon Go. So the numbers should be going up if you're watching our kids. And half of Americans have only a cellular phone in their homes, and they are using them for everything. So that's the future. People 25 to 34, more than 2/3 of them are living in wireless only. They don't even get the idea of having that phone on the wall that some of us here grew up with. And anyone with kids have seen them use that video and suck up data nonstop. In the industry, I always like to say, well, that's terrible, look at my bill. But on the other hand, I say, well, that's good for business. You keep on streaming there. But we're well positioned for the future, to say the least. These people that are natives to the wireless world are not going back. And it's not just the kids surfing. I mean, more seriously, half the population on wireless devices are relying on this for 911 access. They're counting on the work you do every day. And you're the ones who are going to make it possible for them to have dependable service, to have the capacity they need, so they don't see that little ball circling there. From smart city ventures in building and hospitals to public safety mandates, the mid-tier market opportunities I was just talking about a minute ago with somebody. It's now at the point where a lot of you are probably thinking, what's the next big opportunity? And what's the right opportunity to pursue? And I think you're in just the right place to find out. Investments are taking place on both the vendor and carrier side. Opportunities are opening up all over. And that's why we decided to launch this business matchmaking program here at the show. We're going to have procurement officials from major wireless companies, including Crown, Castle, Extenet Systems, Insight Wireless, and American Tower, all meeting one-on-one with attendees. And we're really have in mind the goals of that kind of operation are to get insight about specific plans, to learn more about products and services that each company provides, to establish professional relationships that could lead to some good business deals, we hope and expect. And I think it'll bring opportunities for folks that are looking to connect with major wireless infrastructure providers who are, like the rest of us, seeing this show as an opportunity to find new business opportunities and new vendors. On top of facilitating business, of course, WI spends a lot of its time on making sure the government takes your needs into account. We're the voice of this industry in Washington and in states across the country as well. WIA continues to invest in regulatory efforts. We have the largest program we've ever had in the history of WIA to make sure that the companies you represent and the entire industry can succeed. We are hearing from a lot of you that two major barriers that you're facing are regulatory rights-of-way concerns and affordable front-haul and backhaul network solutions. My job is to make sure our industry at all levels of government, whether it be in the state or locality or in the federal level, is taking into account what your needs are. That we find folks in Washington, policymakers, get it. They get the role that we have, and they all agree with us that we want to maximize the potential of wireless networks to contribute to economic growth. I was a former regulator. I was on the FCC for about 7 years, and I know all too well how much trouble regulators can cause. Not that I ever caused any myself, but I've also learned, that with the proper education, they can be very, very helpful. And we're finding that, we've gotten a lot of progress. I mean, it's great to be out of government, don't kid me. With what's going on in Washington right now, anybody would be glad to be out of there. But more importantly, I'm honored to really represent this industry because it's such a great group of people, such a great product that we're delivering. And we understand the challenges and opportunities that you face more than anyone. So my team and I, we have a great government advocacy team that are here today. Make sure that the government's encouraging investment and not throwing up roadblocks, not standing in the way, but making it possible for you to do your job without needless red tape. And that's how we argue to the government. We're going to enable widespread broadband deployment. That's what they want, that's what you want, that's what the people need. So last year I was testifying on Capitol Hill about this on both the House and the Senate. And I told Congress they need to streamline and accelerate the deployment of wireless broadband. And the message is simple: wireless infrastructure makes wireless work. You need all of these guts that we're going to see in the exhibit hall to make the systems work. And the chairman of the Commerce Committee really got it. He actually held up his smartphone and he said, without infrastructure, this is just an expensive paperweight. I think he got it right. There's been a lot of discussion in Congress and at the FCC about the role infrastructure plays in meeting wireless demand, more than we've ever heard. They understand infrastructure's importance to the economy, to innovation, and they're trying to pave the way for 5G deployment, which would be great for all of our businesses. 5G is extremely important to the FCC. In fact, earlier this year, WIA had urged for years the FCC to do this. The Wireless Telecommunications Bureau released new rules that smooth the way for you to do your jobs easier. The new rules eliminate historic preservation review and environmental review for most small cells and DAS. So you don't get treated, each one, like it's a giant macro tower. And in July, the FCC voted to make spectrum above 24 gigahertz, the so-called spectrum frontiers, available for flexible wireless services, including next generation networks and technologies. Now those really high frequencies require massive densification. As a lot of you, I'm sure, are aware, at those frequencies the signal doesn't travel very far. That means we need more and more antennas. Huge opportunity for us. And they offer massive bandwidth at the end, which means people can rely more and more on wireless. And again, we'll have most people off wireline because it will be equivalent when we get to 5G. We use those high frequencies. And that's why Chairman Wheeler called that perhaps the most important decision of the year for them. In no uncertain terms, I think it positioned the country's wireless networks to continue its global leadership, and best of all, positioned the small cell and DAS business to take off. Now it's going to be a while before that hits, but those are in place now for progress. So we're encouraged by the work that we're seeing in Washington. I mean, it's not often you hear that. You're lucky to be at this conference. You go to 99% of the other conferences, like, oh my God, they're killing us. Here, they're actually helping in the Washington level, and we're still seeing a lot of resistance. Don't get me wrong, we recognize that, but we actually have them saying to us, what can we do to help? We're encouraged by the work they're doing on federal lands. They're trying to smooth the way for deployment on federal lands. The White House has sought out information about how to streamline environmental historic preservation on federal lands. FCC and Congress are asking us as well, and they're asking us about the tribal issues. I know a lot of you are facing, and I've heard from a lot of people about more and more delays and costs being imposed by tribes. It's getting more time consuming and expensive every day, and they're working with us to try to figure out a way to resolve that. We need certainty. We're asking Congress and the FCC to tell us the rules of the road, to clear roadblocks so that we can reduce costs and we can get this rollout done quickly. Our members, all of you, are putting up billions of dollars in private capital every year, and we just ask that we have predictability and consistency so that investment can continue to grow and to flow. And the other thing we're doing is working with states like we never have before. We are out there in a growing number of states that are considering legislation to improve the regulatory environment for our industry. We've hired lobbyists in states across the country, and we're working with them to break down barriers to responsible deployment of wireless networks. We're trying to do it in a balanced way. That means doing it right, and not just quickly and cheaply at the expense of our relationships with local communities. So you can slap up a big tower in the rights of way without asking anybody's permission, but you might be the last one that gets to do that, and the door's going to get slammed behind you. So I think we all are trying to be as respectful as we can with local communities and address their real concerns, but at the same time we need to push back when they go beyond reason. They don't need to treat each one of these devices like it's a macro tower. WI has worked with a lot of states to update their pole attachment regulations. We're working to try to ensure our members have access to utility poles at fair rates, at fair terms, and fair conditions. Streamlined pole attachments, as all of you that are working on them know, are really critical if we're going to deploy these tens of thousands of small cells as quickly as the carriers would like to see it. So these rules are really key to the deployment of fiber and small cells that will supplement macro sites and enable these 5G networks. And I think because of that, we're getting the kind of support we need. We're getting states to say, yeah, maybe we should do this. And we're also looking at how to do this with the brain power of our members. We want to harness all of the great brain power. I see a lot of folks here that have worked on our group. We reconstituted the WIA Innovation and Technology Council. It's chaired by industry legend Jake McLeod, who spent last year working hard with a lot of you to produce some incredible white papers that are available on our website now about wireless infrastructure. They cover a whole range of topics from workforce development and how that's going to help our industry to the importance of planning for mobile broadband while designing new buildings and best practices for pole attachments. And this week, the ITC is publishing another white paper entitled Unleashing Economic Benefits of Mobile Broadband Expansion. And that's available on WIA.org in our online resource library. And the work of the Innovation Technology Council never stops. The committee is going to be meeting this week right after the show on Thursday. We're going to get together here in the hotel and talk about the next round of white papers. So if you're interested in getting engaged in this, we'd love to have you involved. Ask me or ask Tracy or any of the WI team if you'd like to get engaged in that. We're grateful for all the work that members have done so far on these, and they've been so insightful, and it really helped move the industry forward, so thank you. So as this industry moves forward and takes off, as we all believe it will, we need to have a workforce that's trained and up to the job. We want to put out that many cell sites so quickly. I think we need to make sure that we work with everybody we can. So we've got partnerships with both public sector, the Department of Labor, and with the private partners on workforce development and training. We plan to roll out an initiative soon. We'll be announcing, and the goal really is to improve safety and quality. Now, safety is a big issue, especially on towers, but quality deployments are another issue where a lot of these systems are getting deployed in ways that are not what the carriers expect in terms of quality. And I know the folks in this room are committed to doing the job right. That's why you're here. And so we want to help you have the workforce that you need to be able to do that. We want to address the skills gap that we see. So people that are used to just pulling cable don't think, well, you just slap an antenna on the end of it and you're done. As you know, there's a lot more that goes into it. We want to make sure that we have a diverse workforce that includes veterans and others. So we'll share more details about this in the coming months. But we've been working for a long time with the Telecommunications Industry Registered Apprenticeship Program, or TIRAP. It's a apprenticeship approach for our industry. Our industry really hasn't gotten involved in apprenticeships, but it's really perfect for us. There's a lot of federal funds that come with that. One company that we've worked with said that they've gotten 10 people trained and found $100,000 in federal training funds as a result. And they can draw down, if we work with veterans, with GI Bill and others, to basically have somebody else help fund the training for us so that we have a workforce that is affordable, that's quality. Because if we have a huge spurt in putting these small cells out, and we don't have enough folks, the costs are going to go up dramatically for the folks that are there, and there's not going to be enough of them, and we're going to get shoddy contractors moving in and doing bad work and undercutting everybody. If we get this done right with your input, with the right small cell and DAS credentials, you know who you hire. You know somebody that's got the training they need. So we want to leverage all of your engineering leadership and figure out how to get the technical skills we need to train workers right. Not only tower technicians, but small cell and DAS installers, people that understand RF, and we'll be doing an RF 101 course so that everybody understands the basics. Because a lot of folks never really had the opportunity to figure out the environment they're working in. So we want a streamlined model for deployment, and training is a big part of that. And given the lead time it takes, we've been working on this for a while, we're finding it takes a little longer to get this together than we thought. And it takes a long time to get the trainees out there, so we really need to begin now. So we're really appreciative of all of you who've been involved in this effort, and we'll fill you in more on that in the coming months. So the next couple of days, you'll have the opportunity to connect with your colleagues and customers. Ask them, why are they members of the HeadNet Forum if you're not a member already? Find out why, because companies choose to join here because we do great advocacy work, but more importantly, they recognize the value of what it means to be part of this community. They understand the ecosystem that includes carriers and how are they going to improve capacity. That includes neutral host or DAS systems that are trying to deploy these systems and looking for the right OEM. We're all here together, and it's great that we can provide value to our members through bringing people together. And this year's Expo is no exception. There's plenty to learn here. There's great products and services. The exhibit hall is sold out. An amazing array of folks in the exhibit hall with amazing technologies. You'll be amazed what you'll find there. It's the best expo on small cells and DAS ever put together in the United States. This is an opportunity to network with your current customers, find your future customers, a place to connect with your partners and your peers. And at the end of the day, I think the winners in this industry know what it's all about. It's about the end user customer. The consumers only look at this through what they see in their device and whether it's working or not, but they don't really get all the work that we do. But we know that how they're using their devices impacts how we develop infrastructure for them. So we need to keep up with the demand that they're putting on us on these networks. We'll bring antennas closer and closer to the end user, and this will change how we build networks, whether it's indoor or outdoor. So we're here in Houston to join together as an industry to put our minds together to figure out how to tackle these challenges and discuss the great opportunities ahead of us. Our goal is to strengthen your bottom line. I know it took an effort to get here, so we want to make sure it's worth your while. We want to reduce regulatory barriers for you. Everything that we get from the show, we pour back into our advocacy efforts on your behalf. We want to make sure we lower costs for you by doing that, facilitate faster deployment so you can deliver what your customers want. We want to make sure that you have a workforce that's available to do it right. We have all the people here in the room that are needing to get that job done. We have the experts who know how to move the industry forward. We have carriers, the vendors, the systems integrators, and enterprise all here. So the whole ecosystem at One Expo is the opportunity that we offer to you. So I want to thank again our sponsors for making this all possible. I want to thank the members for their support, and thanks to all of you who made coming to this event part of your success. I also want to thank WI staff for putting this event together. Did a great job in this beautiful hotel. We're fortunate to have the who's who of the industry here brought together. And thank you for joining us. Let's get this show started.